Iron Man, the first true movie of the MCU, a movie whose financial success literally financed the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is also the movie most responsible for turning around Robert Downey Jr.'s career. He's had other roles, but none were as big as this one. Was so good and beloved in this role that he pretty much reprised this role for 10 years straight. So what is Iron Man about? Iron Man takes place in the present day, and it is about Tony Stark. Tony Stark is a playboy, billionaire, genius, lead of Stark Industries, the world's leading weapons manufacturer. He's also a self-absorbed narcissist, doesn't really care about anything or anyone but himself. He's kind of everything Elon Musk wishes he could be. One day, Tony travels to the Middle East to demonstrate his newest line of missiles for a bunch of American generals. On the way back from the demonstration, he gets attacked by a bunch of terrorists, some very generic-looking terrorists. Anyways, Tony gets attacked and he gets captured by these terrorists and he wakes up in a cave. He also finds that he has a car battery strapped to his chest, along with some sort of device. Turns out, during the attack, shrapnel got embedded in his chest, and in order to keep him alive, another captive named Yinsen installs a car battery and a magnet to his chest to keep the shrapnel in place so it doesn't travel further and pierce his heart and kill him. So now Tony has to walk around with his car battery strapped to his chest or else he'll die. That sounds awful, so instead of using the car battery, Tony uses his immense genius to develop the arc reactor. The arc reactor is a small, compact power source of seemingly limitless energy that produces no waste. Yes, it sounds kind of dumb, but this is fiction, so you just gotta run with it. Tony now installs the arc reactor into his chest and removes the car battery because he no longer needs it, and now he has a lot more mobility. Meanwhile, the terrorists come back and they tell Tony, hey, we want you to build us weapons with your immense genius. If you don't do so, we're going to kill you. So Tony and his new pal Yinsen, instead of building weapons, fake building weapons, instead come up with a plan to escape. Their plan is to build a giant mechanized suit of armor powered by Tony's new arc reactor. The armor will have all sorts of new weapons like increased strength, durability, and flamethrowers that shoot flames out of his hands. The two enact the plan and eventually make their escape attempt. Unfortunately, Yinsen dies in the attempt, but not before telling Tony not to waste his life. Tony escapes into the desert and is eventually found by the US military, who then flies him back home to California. There, Tony holds a press conference to tell everyone that Stark Industries will no longer make weapons, which is ridiculous because it's like Apple telling everyone they're no longer going to make iPhones. It's like, how will your company make money? It is at this point we are introduced to Obadiah Stane, the number 2 at Stark Industries and friend and partner to Tony Stark. Obadiah pushes back, tells Tony to calm down, take a break, and not make any rash decisions. Tony instead goes back to the lab in his house and decides to build another highly advanced suit of armor powered by his arc reactor in order to fight bad guys like the ones who captured him. As he's finishing up development of his new suit of armor, he learns that Obadiah has been selling weapons to terrorists, and he has also wrested control of the company away from Tony. Tony, now enraged, hops in his armor and flies to the Middle East to kill the terrorists who Obadiah has sold his weapons to. He finds some terrorists using weapons from Stark Industries and kills them and destroys the weapons as well. On his way back, he is ambushed by Obadiah Stane with some sort of paralyzing device, where Obadiah confesses that he was the one who arranged for Tony to get kidnapped by some terrorists. Obadiah's true intent was to kill Tony Stark. Obadiah then takes out another device which extracts the arc reactor in Tony's chest that had been keeping all the shrapnel in place and pulls it out. Tony immediately begins to die, and Obadiah leaves with the arc reactor, content that he has killed Tony Stark and has obtained the most advanced power source on the planet. Unfortunately for Obadiah, Tony somehow manages to crawl into the basement where he has a spare arc reactor, and he installs that into his chest and survives. Tony then hops into his armor to fly over to Stark Industries and confront Obadiah, where he is confronted by an even bigger suit of armor that Obadiah built and is now powered with the arc reactor he took out of Tony's chest. The two get into a very special effects-laden fight. There eventually is an explosion, and Tony comes out the victor. Tony then holds a press conference to explain why Obadiah is dead, and there was a big explosion. And instead of doing what we normally do in the superhero genre, which is to keep our secret identities, Tony confesses that he is in fact the pilot of the armor. He is Iron Man, and does away with decades of superhero comic book tradition, which requires our hero keep a secret identity. Now everyone knows that Tony Stark is Iron Man. Now, should you watch this movie or should you skip it? And the answer is you should definitely watch it. Iron Man is the quintessential summer blockbuster film. It is fun, it is light, it has tons of special effects that hold up even to this day. But the main reason you want to watch Iron Man is simply to watch Robert Downey Jr. work. He does for this movie what Johnny Depp does for the Pirates of the Caribbean series. He's just this lovable, charming jerk who talks so fast you can't tell if he's improvising or just delivering those lines really quickly. He's just so good in this role that fans have been wanting to watch him reprise this role for over a decade. Two takeaways from this film. There is an after credits scene where Samuel L. Jackson shows up as Nick Fury, commander of S.H.I.E.L.D., a fictional law enforcement agency in the Marvel Universe. This is just a hint at the future Avengers movie that they're leading up to. The other takeaway is that Terrence Howard, who plays Rhodey in this movie, is replaced by Don Cheadle. There's some drama that goes on. This is his first and last time as Rhodey. Don Cheadle will be Rhodey going forward. That is the end of this video. If you liked the video, please like or subscribe. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Next up is my video on the Incredible Hulk.